Yo, what's up guys? So we're here to go over the best cards in the newest set, Rising Rampage. We're going to be going over some of the cards that are going to be worth money, as well as the cards that have a lot of potential use for it later down the line also. But anyways, let's go ahead and hop right into it, and we will be doing some openings of the sneak peek of Rising Rampage here very soon. So if you're new to the channel here, and you want to see that, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell, and definitely be notified. But anyways, this is hands down the best card in the entire set, which is Apollousa, Bow of the Goddess. So basically, you go ahead and summon it, and it requires 2+ monsters, except for tokens, and you can only control one of them, but the original attack of this card becomes 800 times the number of link materials used for its link material, and then once per turn when your opponent activates an effect, you can make it lose 800 attack and negate the activation. Usually this card will have 3 to 4 negations. This card is very, very excellent. Probably, again, the best card in the entire set for most people. Next up, though, Gizmek, Orochi, the Serpentron Sky Slasher, also known as the Metal Snake. This is used in Grand Maju, but you can definitely utilize this in other decks. So yeah, it just has an effect where you can, as a quick effect, you can banish 8 cards from the top of your deck face down to special summon it from your hand or graveyard. Then you get to banish 3 cards from your extra deck face down, target a face-up monster on the field, and destroy it. But you can only use each effect of it once per turn. Unfortunately, it only once that turn. Otherwise, you just special summon it and get rid of a card. But it's usually used during your opponent's end phase. You summon it, and it really does help out. Not only to give you that extra monster, but you also have that RNG mechanic of hopefully not banishing the cards you need. But you will get extra cards banished. So it's definitely used for Grand Maju. You can run it in Orcus as well as just any deck, really. It's just a really good, just really easy special summon at level 8. So if you want to go for rank 8, he's excellent for that. Next up, this one is not going to be a very expensive card because it's actually going to be a common. But number 29, Mannequin Cat, back when Summoner Sorceress was still a thing, this card opened up the doors for so many more insane plays. But the fact that you get to target a monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it, and then if it's special summoned to your opponent's field while you control this card, you get to target a piece of monster your opponent controls and special summon one monster with the same type or attribute from your hand, deck, or graveyard. This card just opens up the doors for a lot of crazier plays. There's a point where people would tech in some of the Cosmo cards just to get a Dark Destroyer pop, and then obviously that card can kind of protect itself. Just overall solid card for just a lot of other decks. But this one, again, won't be a very expensive card. This one, it will be an expensive card. In fact, this is a secret rare, this is also a secret rare, and then this one is also a secret rare. This is Get Out. This card lets you target 2 monsters your opponent controls that were special from the extra deck. You shuffle them back into the deck. I think this card has a lot of potential for a side deck, especially in any deck that really needs to kind of use the links as, of course, stepping stones to make more powerful monsters. Again, this card is just so great. It is a trap card, so I think a lot of people might be uninterested in running it, but in the side deck, it could see some play. It's definitely not too bad of a secret rare. But next up, we have the Romulus over here. This is the Dragoonity Link monster. I believe this one is ultra rare. Yeah, in Rising Rampage here. It just kind of helps out Dragoonities. But summon condition is 2 dragon and or winged beast monsters. But if it's summoned, well, via link summon, you get to add a Dragoonity spell trap or Dragon Ravine. So you do have other utility besides, of course, Dragoonities, but that's what it's meant for. But if a dragon monster is supposed to summon from the extra zone that this card points to, you're supposed to summon another dragon or winged beast monster from your hand in defense position. So it opens up the doors for a lot more plays. It does negate that effect, and it can't be used as link material. But basically, it opens up the doors for, again, more combolicious plays with, of course, guard dragons or really anything else that can tech in any just dragon variants. And there are a lot of decks that can do it. So this is just definitely overall a really good card as well. Next one up, this is going to be secret rare, but Fortune Lady Every is going to be a pretty pricey card, and that is due to, of course, people just like to collect the Fortune Lady cards. If you guys haven't seen some of the prices of the Fortune Lady stuff, it is absolutely ridiculous for the amount of play that they're seeing, if that makes sense. I did actually cover this in a separate video. If you guys want to see the new Fortune Ladies, or if you want to see the new Simorgh stuff, I did upload videos going over these as soon as they got announced. Even Marincess, they're going to need support here. And then on top of that, we did go over some of the newer mirror cards, which I'll briefly talk about. But there are a bunch of new archetypes coming out in here. But I don't think Fortune Ladies are anywhere near the top tier of decks. However, there is a build I know with basically Ancient Venus where you can do an insane amount of things with Fortune Ladies. It's basically utilizing their draw power for other engines. But this was definitely not a bad secret rare if you pull it, because again, I think there are people that just want this card for, of course, that good quality artwork on the secret rare. And then we also have the Marincess Marbled Rock. They will be getting more support later down the line. Like I mentioned before, if you guys want to see gameplay of this, check the pinned comment. I'm going to have all of the gameplays for all of these new archetypes coming out. But basically, the Marincess can be kind of a boss monster deck. It has a lot of recyclability, plus, since they're Cyberse, of course, Mining will be able to search out most of the combo pieces in the entire deck. But it can be just a boss monster. You can't do anything to be kind of a deck. That's kind of the go-to way. This one is going to be another secret rare here in the TCG. But this is Cap Shell. It's just kind of for some random draw power. There are a lot of builds where you can definitely utilize this, especially if you don't need your normal summon. But anyways, you can only use one of the effects of it once per turn and only once a turn. So if it's tributed, you get to draw a card. If it's used as material for a fusion, synchro, or link summon, you get to draw a card. If this card is detached or does it exceed to activate its effect, you can also draw a card. So basically, it's going to give you a reoccurring card if you're able to get this card out for free. I really wish it was level 1. It would actually open up the doors for a lot more crazy plays, but nonetheless, Cap Shell is another secret rare that I think a lot of people are looking forward to. This is another card that's coming out in Rising Rampage, which is Draw Discharge. When your opponent draws a card, but via their own card effect, you get to look at the cards, and if there are any monsters, you get to inflict burn damage equal to their combined attack. And if you do, you get to banish all cards you looked at, and you can only activate one of them per turn. I wish it banished those cards face down too, but nonetheless, it's still a really good effect. If they go for a draw power, you get to check what they drew, even if you don't get the other bonus effects. You still get to see what they draw. But the main thing is, if they're monsters, you not only do burn damage, but they lose out on those draw power cards anyways. But it's kind of random, and I think that's why a lot of people won't want to run it. But again, for certain decks, this could be very good, even for like burn variants. It's insane sometimes. Next up, Witchcrafters are finally getting Golem Ruru, and this card is really helpful for the deck. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a spellcaster monster you control for an attack. You control or targets it for an attack. You could target one card your opponent controls or another witchcraft in your graveyard, special summon this card, return that targeted card to the hand. It's pretty good, but it does have a downside of once during your opponent's standby phase, return this card to the hand. So they will see that coming the second time. Well, hopefully they will, unless they're bad players, Kappa. But this is another just a great card. Again, well, by the way, right now we're basically getting into some of the cards that just have a little bit more potential. If you want the money cards, it's pretty much Apollos and this. The rest of the cards probably will lose out on value relatively quick, but I feel like this and this will maintain their value for quite some time. But anyways, next up we have the Cataclysmic Chronic Holdo, which makes it so if when monster you control is destroyed by battle opponent's card effect, you just special summon it, and then you get to place one spell and trap field on the top of the deck, so you can actually disrupt your opponent's next draw, and then on top of that you get an extra monster to summon. I thought it was an interesting card, especially since we have the new, of course, Dragon Ruler back into the game. For FAs, not a bad card over here. It's so generic though, it just requires 2 machine monsters, but it's really kind of only used for FA. But it gains attack equal to the levels of the FA monster points 2 times 300. Neither player can takes any battle damage from attacks involving this card, but each time an FA spell trap is activated, you get to place an athlete counter on it. Then when they activate a monster effect, you can remove an athlete counter and destroy it. However, the effect is only once per turn, so if you can combo this, of course, with the other FA synchro, you can kind of have some extra negations here, and it definitely does help out the deck, so that's going to get a little bit of a boost. Beat Raptor is a card over here. It technically did come in a special edition, but I thought it was a really cool card. I mean, I just want to mention it. But it makes it so you get to negate the effects of the monsters in the extra monster zone while it's in the main monster zone, and then when it's just short about it, you get to summon another one. It's basically for like anti-mana / stun, and it's got 2,000 defense points. Next up, Spirit Sculptor is pretty interesting. You get to attribute a monster, then you get to add a monster from your deck to your hand, whose combined original attack and defense equals the combined original attack and defense of the attributed monster. You only use this effect once per turn. There's a lot of potential for this card for searchability for future references. It is an ultra rare in the set, so it might be a card that, you know, it starts off like at $10, but then it's going to go down to like $1. And I don't think it's that bad for $1, especially because there is a lot of potential with this card, specifically to search out other things. And then we have Linkback, which I thought was a very interesting card in this set. But anyways, you get to target Link monster you control in the extra monster zone, and then you get to move it to your main monster zone that it points to. Then you can send cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard equal to its link rating. I thought this card was, again, interesting for other variants. I mean, if you're playing BA, Lightsworn, there's just other cards and archetypes that Linkback could be an okay card. Next up, though, we have Barber. This was actually seeing some play in the OCG. There's a ton of cards where if like this card goes away, it does something. It's like Ab-Zero, for example. But anyways, at the start of each battle phase, you can target this card or a card this points to, and then until the end phase, you just banish it, and then of course comes back. I like that. It's a pretty cool little effect. And again, it just has the ability to dodge and protect certain things that you really need to protect. And then also Psychic Fervor can be a really nasty card to run into. It's a quick play that makes it so during the battle phase you can target a face-up monster you control. You lose life points equal to its attack, but that monster's attack is doubled until the end of the turn, and it can't attack directly the turn you activate this card. Catbacks. You can do a lot of other weird things with this, basically with the process layers as well. There's a lot of other ways that you can just basically utilize this card to OTK your opponent, as well as surprise them if you set it and they attack into your monster. Bam, doubling that attack, you should be able to get over most things in the game. And yeah, it does have that downside that you do have to also take some of the damage, but I mean, it's worth it sometimes. Next up, Blackout Curtain. I thought this card was pretty interesting. I didn't actually read about this card until I just checked out all of the cards and wanted to make this video because I'm going to sneak peek and kind of want to know what is also here. So anyways, for card or cards you control would be destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you could destroy this card instead of one of those cards. But if your cards your opponent controls would be destroyed battle by card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead of one of those cards. So you can actually utilize this two different ways. Obviously, you're able to protect your stuff, but then if your opponent's trying to do something, you could be like, wait, I'm going to attempt to attack this card, and maybe your monster gains extra attack, and they have a really low monster and it can attack twice, or whatever the case may be. You can definitely utilize it for that. So I thought that this card had some interesting utility with that aspect. The problem that I have, though, and I understand why it's not going to be an insanely strong card, is it makes it so if it would be destroyed by battle by opponent's card effect, a lot of cards will say like negate then and destroy, negate then destroy. If it did prevent the negation, then this card would be absolutely amazing. I think a lot of people would be interested in running it. But I mean, there's cards like Ghost Ogre and stuff. But it's just like a card you can throw down safely if you know that your opponent is playing something like you know, say Salmon Greats, they're going to try to like pop. You do have that ability to kind of protect this card, although they might target both of them. But at that point, you would just go for this anyways. I don't know. I think it's interesting. It has a little bit of play, although I don't know. I think there's still people playing Salmon Greats here, even with the new list. Return to the Normal is an interesting card. It says when a monster is normal or special, face up, except for during the damage step, you can destroy all monsters on the field with less attack than that monster. So if you're playing a deck that is all about special summoning during, like, say, your opponent's turn, there are some decks that have interesting interactions like that. Being able just to pop everything, it can be really nasty. I thought it was, again, just more of an interesting card in the set. Also, Storm Dragon's Return. You can target a banished monster or special summon to your field, but return to the hand during the end phase. You don't have to do it one per turn. This could be really big, especially for the Dragon Rulers specifically, but on top of that, it's supposed to be for the TianWeis, but yeah, we could use it at anything. I think it's just not a bad card overall because you can utilize it as defense. If you are playing any variant of Orcus, you can technically utilize this and bring it back, and then you have your Topologic and pop everything, and then, well, you lose that other card anyways, and then it's going to go ahead and go back to the grave so you can reactivate their effects. Like, this card has a lot of potential. I like this card. It's really cool. Next up, we have Super Uppercut, and when a monster you control is destroyed by battle, I know at that point you're like, okay, it's too slow and I'm just trapped, but you can expose someone monster from your hand or deck with attack less than or equal to that destroyed monster and face down defense position. I was thinking this could have some utility with some Shadals or just any other slower variant decks. It definitely is kind of nice. And then next up, I just want to mention that what else is coming out in here. I will be, again, pinning a bunch of different of these decks, but I really want to talk about them. The 10 Ys of the TianWei Dragons, the Simorgh. I feel like Marincess will get better, and Marincess has a lot more potential than these other decks because they're getting more support. But I wanted to mention what else was in here. The Dream Mirrors are a new archetype where you can kind of dodge things. They're too new right now, I would say, for them to be like, oh, dude, this is one of the new best decks. But I did want to briefly mention the Dream Mirrors, which is a new TCG exclusive archetype, is in Rising Rampage. But I don't know if I would consider them the best. I did a video on them, and I'll link it down below if you guys want to check out all of their effects. But again, I don't think that the Dream Mirrors right now, the Senju's, Simorgh, or the 10 Yi are going to be some insane things to pull out of this set. I think these are just like, yeah, there's a bunch of new archetypes. I don't want to briefly mention them, but I don't think that they're on the same level as what we have out in the game right now. I don't know if they're going to be affecting the meta, of course, unless we get some newer support. But overall, that's my review of like the better cards in Rising Rampage. You guys can let me know what you guys are most excited about down below. For me, hands down, Apollos. I'm playing Orcus Mermail variant, and this card is just like, it's this card even is super amazing. I feel like these are the two best cards, not only for money wise, but in terms of like actual viability. I also really like this card. These are my 3 favorite cards. Let me know your guys' favorite cards that are coming out in the set, and if you think this set is worth picking up. For me, I honestly think if you're not interested in these 2 cards, the set is not really that great for the rest of this stuff. You can pick it up for probably like quarters and dimes because there really isn't too many cards I think are going to be very, very expensive in the set other than the ones I just mentioned over here. But we'll wait and see. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn that bell. I will be doing some early openings, of course, via sneak peek of the newest and latest set. But anyways, if you guys want to send me in replays of specifically Senju's or anything down below using that new TCG, or someone got those Dream Mirrors, I would love to see them if you want to send in some replay files to kind of check out what the deck has can do, really, because I just think it's kind of a sleeper deck right now, but maybe someone will figure out some really cool combo. But if there's any other cards you felt like I missed out on, let me know down below in the comment section below what are the other great cards in this set. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one, and good luck on your sneak peek pulls. Thanks for watching. Peace.